Hi there, this is Edgar for your third installment of pre-med videos. Here to give you advice. I made a list. Hopefully this should help some of you guys out that are just starting off or continuing with their education. First I want to say is get your social life together right now before school starts, because once school starts, the extra time that you do have, you're spending it on either doing research or sleeping. So right now, go out, take advantage of it. Go hang out with friends, family, have a good time. Go places, travel. Do what you want to do now before school starts. Get it out of your system, because once school starts, it's such a hassle. You don't have time for anything. Trust me, I didn't have time for my roommate or anyone. I was just on my own, stuck at home or at Starbucks setting. So take advantage of the spare time that you have and go out and have fun. Next, I want to say is to start off early in your classes. Right now, I'm already on my fourth, fifth chapter of my biology class. And last quarter, what I learned was that what I did, since I did the same thing and I started a lot earlier, once class actually started, when I took my first, second midterm, I was acing everything, so there was less pressure on the finals. While other people didn't do that and they got A's, B's here, and when it came to the final, they had to bust their ass off so hard. I mean, they were studying days and nights and stuff. So go ahead and study now, so there's less stress going into the finals, especially when you have three finals in 1 week. Make it easier on yourself and make the finals less stressful by starting off strong. So I highly recommend doing that. Like, I'm doing that right now. I'm taking notes, highlighting everything, going through concepts and everything. So that's one huge advice if you want to succeed brilliantly. Next, I want to say is I want to recommend this audiobook, or just a book if you want to go ahead and Google it or YouTube the guy. His name is Malcolm Gladwell. He wrote Blink, and he also wrote Outliers, A Story of Success. Just go ahead and Google the guy. He's such an interesting guy. It's amazing. His books are such inspirational books. You'll love them. They were top sellers, so go ahead and Google them. I can't stress to you how important some of their resources and the things that they say are so vital for pre-meds or just anybody in general if you want to succeed in life. Next thing I want to say is to tell you that it's worth it. I've been through it. I had no sleep for like weeks at a time. Sometimes I'd sleep 20 hours in a week, and I mean, or even less than that. That's over. It's worth it. Those sleepless nights, all those nights when your friends are out partying at different schools. I can't stress to you enough. It's worth it. All the sacrifice. At the end of the day, when you see, like, when you look back and you're like, wow, I know all this. You memorized every single concept, and not only that, but you check your grades and you have A's. It's all worth it in the long run. So sometimes I know I doubted myself. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. It was so difficult. I was studying so many long hours. My friends and families were out having fun. I was stuck at home reading books and stuff. And I just want to tell you, it's worth it. Keep with it. Keep pushing through. At the end of the day, if it's something that you love, it's worth it in the long run. Also, I want to say is besides the books that I recommended, is read some leisure books or even magazines, comic books, newspapers, whatever you're interested in. Read them now, like I said, because once school starts, you don't have time for all that. You're gonna be doing either extra research, trying to get ahead in class, or trying to get some sleep. So it's not gonna be just read as many leisure books as you possibly can. Make sure you love this field too. Make sure this is what you want to do. The sleepless nights and all that, it comes down to sometimes if you love it or not. And I realized that this is something that I love this thing. No one in my family is a physician or anything like that. My brother is a mechanic in a military base. My other brother works at Home Depot. My mom has a high school education. My dad has a junior high education. So no one propelled me this route. I fell in love with it. I took, certain things in my life occurred, and I fell in love with it on my own. Don't be pressured to do this because your family or something, or they're making you to do it. Just make sure you love it. That's one advice. It makes things so much easier. And ethically, it's the correct thing to do. Don't get into something just for the money or anything else. Just make sure you love this thing. Next thing I want to say is find a good study partner. Such a good advice here. I had one of my friends went to a different school where I'm from, and we would get together and we would just throw back and forth concepts, especially if you happen to go through metabolism and all the chemicals and PEP and enolase and all. You'll know them all, or if you already know them. We dissected everything. We just took everything apart. Went boom boom. We got the concepts, and we just put things together. We put chemicals. What happens if this pH happen? What happens if this environment change? Or what happens if this chemical is added? Or maybe this molecule was taken off? Well, what's going to happen when you get to metabolism? You're going to need to do that. And find a partner that's smart. Like, I don't like to study with people, but with him, what we did, we reviewed by ourselves, and then at the end, when we wanted to cover everything all over again, we'd get together and we'll throw each other concepts and we'll challenge each other. Make sure we knew the material. And I'm good at memorizing, and it doesn't matter if you have photographic memory. I knew people in my biology classes that would take class and get an F or a D in a class because it wasn't solely on memorization. It was on applied concepts. So this is for a reason. I'm going to read one of the problems here, and for us we had about 40 or 50 of these questions, and they were multiple choice, and you had to figure out what the answer was. So I'll give you an example of what pre-med biology question asks, and it's a simple question on diffusion, but you actually had to get the concept and think about it for a second. Okay, so here's the actual question from an actual exam, a midterm. It says, a number of systems for pumping across membranes are powered by ATP. Such ATP-powered pumps are often called ATP ACEs. Although they do not often hydrolyze ATP unless they are stimulously transporting ions, small increases in calcium ions in the cytosol trigger a number of different intracellular reactions, so the cells must keep the calcium concentration quite low. Muscle cells also transport calcium to the membrane system called the sarcoplasmic reticulum. If a muscle cell cytosol has a calcium ion concentration of 10 to the negative 7 power in a resting cell, while the concentration in the sarcoplasmic reticulum can be 10 to the negative 2 power, then how is ATP ACE acting? So that's a preview on one of the questions that we had to answer, and it was really simple as far as diffusion. If you actually take it apart, you actually understand the question, but there's so much pressure when you're taking the exam. So go ahead and make sure, like I said, those kind of questions, you got to take things apart. What happens if the concentration in this place is higher than this and this and that? So with your study partner, go ahead and dissect this thing. You're going to have to for these exams. Otherwise, memorization alone is not going to do it if you want to ace these classes at this level. Next on the list here, as I see here, is to see professors in their office hours if you can. Establish yourself with the professors, but one thing that I do want to mention is don't go to the professors' office hours when you haven't really shown what you have to offer for the class. Like, I've seen students that would go up there and try to show off to the teachers, and these teachers kind of look at these, are you kids stupid? Like, why waste my time? But once you have established yourself and given yourself credibility, then go ahead. Like, I remember when I first aced my first 2 midterms, then I went up to the teacher and I started talking to her about her field of specialty, which was proteins and genetics and all that. So I went up to her and I gave myself credibility. She even asked me, she's like, hey, what did you get on your first 2 exams? And I gave her my scores, and she looked my name up, and then she's like, okay. And then I sat down and I started talking to her. So give yourself credibility, build a foundation prior to speaking to your teacher. Otherwise, you just look dumb if you're just going to go there just to chat about what you did on the weekend with your friends. Don't do that. Don't make yourself look bad. Next thing I want to say is to spoil yourself on certain things. Like for myself, is I like to use Sharpie pens when I write. It makes it more comfortable. Psychologically, I feel like I do better when I have these. And also, I use the 5-star college rule binders. So spoil yourself. If you feel like that's going to make you do better, even if it doesn't, as long as you're comfortable with it, go ahead and spoil yourself. Spend an extra $2-3 on, a set of better pens or a set of better binders. It's worth it. It's for comfort, and it makes things easier. It makes studying easier, and it makes your life easier at the long run. Next thing I want to say is to, right now, since you have some time off, build yourself up. Go do some volunteer work in the medical field. Read extra books, do what you got to do, to build yourself, to go back into college for your next quarter and being confident in yourself, to know, to have some kind of background knowledge on just general and biochemistry or any other field. So, keep educating yourself. Read extra books on the side. Like I said, Malcolm Gladwell, or read some Michael J. Collins, read some biochemistry that you're not assigned, like what I'm doing. Just, do extra research on your own. It'll pay off in the long run. And one thing I want to say is to, as a pre-med, I kind of, it sounds, I don't want to say this, but we are kind of the elite. To even make the conscious effort to, say that we're going to go pre-med, it takes a lot out of someone. It's putting yourself out there, being more vulnerable to situations where you're saying, you want to succeed in something. So, and sometimes you end up being someone's role model for this fact. So, be ethical, be on your proper ethics, and be a role model for certain people. I know I am to my younger brothers and sisters. So just do what's right. People look up to you. You're someone. So. And last thing I want to sign off with is, I always brought this up in my last 2 videos with this author named Michael J. Collins, and this is one of the passages on his second book, and this is prior to before the book starts on page 1. I just want to sign off with this, is to enjoy your journey. Enjoy this journey that you're in, and take advantage of every day that you're in it. And here's the passage, and kind of just brings up this whole journey situation that we're all in. It says, "We start here and we go there. But it's not that simple, is it? Our paths may be circuitous or direct. We may gaze excitedly ahead or cast our eyes regretfully behind. Until we reach our destination, it exists only in our own minds. It is what we have imagined it to be, and yet we tend to neglect the journey which is real in favor of the destination which is not. For too long I neglected this journey. It was an obstacle to be overcome, an ordeal to be endured. For I had never chosen the journey, I had chosen the destination. But now that the journey has ended, I have discovered that here isn't so important after all. I find myself looking back with particular fondness on how I got here. And that's from Michael J. Collins. He's an orthopedic surgeon. He still practices in Chicago. This book is called Hot Lights, Cold Steel, Autobiography of his resident years in orthopedic surgery. And the book prior to that is How He Got into Medical School, which I recommended, which is called Blue Collar, Blue Scrubs, The Making of a Surgeon. Like I said, enjoy every day that you're in this. I know some days are going to be tougher than others. But if you truly do love this, be passionate about it and enjoy it. And that's it. Hopefully my next video has more in-depth things to cover. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll cover them on the next video, or maybe just comment you back. Sorry I wasn't too in-depth in this video, but I'm here with my family in my house in my hometown, so I've been doing cardio, trying to get back in shape, and just spending time with friends and family. So if you have any questions, comment below, and I'll put it on my next video, or I'll respond to them right away. Enjoy your time off, and if you're in school right now, work hard. Yeah, you know all this. I'll see you guys soon in my next video. Thank you guys. Adios.